Britney Spears' public battle to wrestle legal control of her own life from her father and other legally designated conservators has continued this week, with further allegations emerging about her mistreatment. Here are the details. Britney Spears' former bodyguard has made a series of allegations about her mistreatment in an interview with The Sun newspaper, appearing to corroborate claims the singer made in court last month about her life under the conservatorship of her father, which began in 2008. Former police officer Fernando Flores said Spears was given antipsychotic medications and birth control pills during his 8 months as her bodyguard beginning in 2010. These medications, he said, made her go from sane to talking about parallel universes. This claim runs parallel to Spears' in-court testimony, where she said she had been drugged and prevented from having more children in the period since a court-ordered agreement gave her father control over her estate and other aspects of her life, according to the BBC. Spears is also accusing her father of conservatorship abuse, which can involve imposing excessive personal restrictions on someone in your care, and her former bodyguard alleged a number of restrictive practices, including a policy of searching the bags of all visitors to Spears' home. Flores also added that Spears was not allowed to go out unaccompanied, and alleged both that her phone was monitored and that her father would call her 3 or 4 times per day to check on her. The wider context for these calls, he said, was that Spears had to ask her father's permission if she wanted something. The BBC reports that Spears' father took legal control of large parts of her life in 2008 after a very public mental health crisis. A series of incidents had initially raised concern, with Spears shaving her head and hitting a photographer's car with an umbrella. Then in 2008, she was admitted to hospital twice under a temporary psychiatric assessment ruling, and in one incident allegedly refused to give up her sons in a standoff involving police. Subsequently, under her father's conservatorship, she continued to work, taking up a successful residency in Las Vegas alongside the release of several studio albums. However, in the background, a fan movement to have her released from the conservatorship of her father grew as the arrangement had been extended indefinitely by a judge. Spears herself began to publicly state her desire to break from the arrangement in November 2020 when her attorney made a request to a Los Angeles court to remove her father as sole conservator, according to the Associated Press. By this point, Spears' father's lawyers say he was no longer in charge of her personal affairs because of poor health. However, he retained financial control, according to the BBC, and Spears' lawyer told the court she was afraid of her father and would no longer perform while he retained even that level of control over her affairs. At the time, a judge rejected the request, but added a financial management trust as the co-conservator of her estate, and said the court would consider future appeals for her father's dismissal or outright removal, according to the BBC. Those court proceedings continued in 2021, and last month Spears spoke in court for the first time, alleging, among other things, that she was made to take medication she did not want to take, that the conservatorship has control over her reproductive health, that she had been forced to perform against her will, and that she is being exploited for money, according to the BBC. Attorneys for Spears' father responded by filing a petition to ask the court to investigate the claims. The legal situation is now on hold until the next court date on September 29th. Clearly, this is not the kind of case most people should be commenting on publicly, because the only people informed enough to do so are those involved, and one of those has explicitly and repeatedly asked for privacy. However, there are 2 broader issues that probably should be discussed. Firstly, the Associated Press has pointed out that legal arrangements like these are normally limited to people with severely diminished ability to make decisions and are meant to be temporary. With the knowledge that Spears has been working while under conservatorship and has been doing so for more than 12 years, many have raised questions about the legal checks and balances in place around such arrangements. How often are indefinite legal arrangements a good idea, for instance? Secondly, speaking about Spears' 2007 public meltdown, pop culture writer Jessica Goldstein has described the hugely invasive atmosphere Britney Spears grew into and came up with a simple conclusion. With paparazzi following her every move and interviewers asking extremely personal questions, this kind of experience would have driven even the most grounded person completely out of their minds. So obviously the battle over Britney Spears' conservatorship will continue to make headlines, but surely her insanely heavy-handed treatment by the media should be a bigger part of this story than any personal battle. With weird photographer dudes following your every move, who wouldn't reach for the nearest umbrella? And of course, this is just one major story in a life full of them.
Celebrity Shorts.
Get off the stage, boo!
A Britney Spears concert in Vegas was interrupted unceremoniously after a crazy fan just had to have his share of the limelight. The pop princess was in the middle of a show at Planet Hollywood when a man jumped on stage, did a front flip, and then made his way to the center. Someone from backstage tried to drag Crazy Pants away, but he threw the guy off. He then had to deal with Brit's backup dancers, who quickly rushed to keep the psycho away from their queen. Said queen was ironically singing her hit song, Crazy, and was oblivious to the commotion until two security brawns approached to escort her off the stage. In one video, the pop star's knees can be seen buckling a bit as she asks if the fan has a gun. The stage-hogging idiot, meanwhile, was held down by the dancers until security cuffed him and took him away. Fans were less than thrilled about his antics and can be heard calling him a certain unsavory body part as he was let out.
Beyonce would have taken him. Guess for the breaks in your house, we'll just let him down.
Crazy fan was later identified as 37-year-old Jesse Webb, who claims he wasn't trying to attack Brit, he just really wanted to dance. An usher had allegedly stopped Webb from dancing in his seat, saying the only dancing taking place would be on stage. So yeah, probably not crazy, but definitely a jerk.
For more news animations and explainers, hit the subscribe and bell button to join the TomoNews family. Thanks for watching.